Yeah, well, it started off good, and I scored some goals, had some fun out there, and got called up, and that was awesome. To play some games here, went down again, kept on going, felt good, and then I had a little bit of dip in the end, but that happens to everyone, but I think that every dip, that out of every dip, it's come something great, and I learned lots about it and got a lot of experience from it, and now I feel like a new guy again, and it's going to be fun to start the new season.
Talk about St. John's and what you liked about it, and going through, deep into the playoffs. What was that like?
Well, it's a lot like here actually. It's a new team for the town, and it's just a great crowd, just like here too. Of course, it's a little less crowd then, but it's full house every time too. So that's cool, and definitely the best place in the American League in the whole North America. So it's awesome.
You talk about playing under Keith McCambridge.
Oh, he's a great coach. I think he's very fair to you. Like if you play good, you play a lot, and if you're not playing that good, you're playing less. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be, In Sweden, it could be like sometimes you were young and you had to stay aside, even if you did a good game, But here he lets everyone play, and that's cool. Lots of respect for Keith. He's a great coach.
What type of feedback do you get, either from Keith or from the Jets, about specific things you have to work on to get to that next step here?
Well, they always give you feedback about a few things, of course, and I'll listen to it and reconsider it in my head, and just aiming for the goals I have, and the things I'm already good at, and things I'm not good at. So, just listening to them, because they're great. They are great mentors, and listen to them a lot, and just going out there and having fun.
What do you think they're looking for from this week from you?
Well, since I'm one of the older guys here, I guess showing how it works for a lot of the younger guys. How things should be out there, that you're going hard every time. It's not like a holiday, it's hard work that matters, and I think you're supposed to be a role model for some younger players, but I'm not thinking too much about that. I'm just trying to be the one I am, and I hope they will see that, because that's the way they are supposed to be too. They cannot be someone else, so just be who you are and have fun out there.
Where do you see yourself next season?
Well, I want to play in the NHL like everyone else, and that's my goal. Then it's hard to predict, how it's going to be, but my goal is to play in the NHL, and if I'm not there, I'm not going to be satisfied. That's how easy it is. So it's hard to say if I get some games in the NHL, in the American League. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep going until I got a spot here, and that's my goal.
Spots, of course, are hard to get. What's it like when you see the Jets signing, some veteran players, free agents that are obviously going to fill some of those spots?
Well, I can't think too much about things I can't control. I'm only focusing on what I have to do out there, and then I'll see where I end up, because I can't control if they sign some other players and stuff. I just gotta be myself, enjoy my time on the ice wherever it is, and have fun and see how far it takes me.
It's been good. The first day with fitness testing, it was nice to see where we're sitting in the middle of the summer here. But the last few days, it's been good. A lot of skill development, a lot of stuff we can bring back for the rest of the summer and work on.
How did you test? Top of the pack?
Near the top of the pack. It's nice. You go back to your gym now, go back in London, and you know what to need to work on to come into main camp in your best shape.
Can you talk about the things you worked on from last year throughout the season with Kitchener? I know they gave you a couple of instructions maybe to be tougher and whatnot. Can you talk about that compared to this summer?
Yeah, they said just play meaner, play with an edge, win every battle, and they said just whatever you do, just keep working, and your game will come. And this year I got some power play time in Kitchener. I got a few goals, and definitely that helped out with my development. But yeah, I definitely had a pretty good year.
Was that harder to do, to get a mean streak, or did that come pretty naturally to you?
It came naturally at first. Once it's a mindset. I got my mindset pretty early in the season, and then it's stuck around. So I think it's really helping out my game.
What's the focus this summer, not only this week, but for the rest of the year?
Just get better, work on some skills I need to do, like my hands and my feet, and that's always as being a bigger guy that's always on the lower end. But I use my size to my advantage, so that's what we need to do this summer.
I know training camp's coming up, the goal is to make the Jets, but what are your future aspirations this year? Is it to make the jump to pro hockey?
Yeah, for sure. I finished my junior year, just my overage season, so next year is going to be pro, and I want to make it at the highest level as I can. So I'll work as hard as I can this summer and then come into camp with a good attitude.
How do you feel mentally, though, as far as becoming a professional? There's a lot of things on the ice and game that you have to develop, but the mental side?
Yeah, for sure. You're living on your own now. You're not with a billet or you're with your family, so a lot of off-ice stuff is coming in. You got bills to pay now, and a lot of just growing up and being more mature.
Outside of just like power play time, talk about the season a little more. Kitchener did very well going into the playoffs and went quite deep.
Yeah, the power play time was nice to have, but it was just something I did with my team partner Ryan Murphy, and we had a lot of ice time. We worked on even my fighting. I worked on my fighting skills a bit, so it was an all-around game improvement this year.
And when you say you try to play meaner, what do you do exactly?
Let guys know that when they're in the corner with me, they're not going to come out easily with the puck. That if they want the puck, it's going to be a battle, and that every battle in the corner is I want to come out as a winner.
Does that mean taking more penalties?
No, I think just staying on the belt line, but penalties will come because I'm a bigger guy, especially the smaller guys that try and slip around. But penalties will come, but try to stay with the penalties, but just play tougher.
I think it's been really good. Obviously, it's a lot of fun to get in here and see the excitement behind the team. I mean, it's one thing to see it on the TV or when you're watching it secondhand, but to see it firsthand is really exciting.
Overall, do you feel the players are a little bit more comfortable now that you've got those first day jitters out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the jitters are one thing, but it's more getting comfortable with the guys you're around. And I mean, it's really important to be comfortable in your surroundings. When you get to know people, you settle down.
What have you learned so far?
I mean, just the lifestyle of a pro. I mean, it's a lot different than junior. I mean, the way you train, the way you carry yourself away from the rink is a lot different, and I think that's the biggest thing.
We've seen what you're doing on ice, but we hear off ice you're learning how to cook, and you're doing some different things as a team. Can you kind of take us behind the scenes?
Yeah, last night we went out for dinner and ended up cooking our own dinner, and I think that's it's eye-opening. I think it's one thing that's really important. I mean, if you can't cook, it's going to be pretty tough to live on your own. So I guess that's one of the things you learn about the pro lifestyle.
What else is on tap for you guys? Do you know yet?
I'm not even sure. I think just, again, keeping with the skating and the workouts and a few more team dinners and just a lot of team building, get to know the guys. Oh, it was everything. I mean, my dad was working in the game. He was working with the Minnesota Wild at the time, and I mean, they were a young franchise, so I spent a lot of time around them. And I mean, you learn what it takes to be a pro at a very young age, and I think that's one thing that's been very invaluable to me.
So was your dad that got you into it, I guess?
Yeah, I think it wasn't really a choice, or it was just my desire to be in the game. I'd grown up around it so long that it was all I'd ever known, and it was all I ever wanted to do.
Tell me a bit about the setting, the home rinks and basement stuff, or what do you
in our basement we had a cement floor in our storage room, and spent a lot of time on the rollerblades in there. And then when I turned about 8, we had my bedroom was the office downstairs, so the storage room turned into my bedroom, and so I lost that, but we poured a cement pad in the backyard, and that kind of took over for my hockey in the back.
Okay, and flooded it in the winter then?
No, never had we had the outdoor rink one winter, but the winters are pretty mild in Lethbridge, so it's pretty tough to get a frozen rink. So I spent a lot of time at the rink. I think there was always the choice that if you didn't want to play, then you didn't have to, but at the same time, it was all I ever knew. And I mean, again, whether I was 6, 7 years old or 18, 19 years old, it's been my desire and my passion to play the game of hockey, and it's something that I'm going to continue to strive to do.
Any particular uncle or cousin that you took your cue from?
I mean, you watch Brandon growing up, and I mean, the success he had playing U17 and U18 and World Juniors, obviously it's something that you want to follow on those paths, and you want to do that.
This camp's been great. They're really developing us, and they're really working us hard, and I feel like this is really going to improve all of our games.
You seem to like that, the fact that they're working you hard even for a summer camp?
Yeah, because when you're off training by your own and you think you're doing well, but then you come here and you see you need to do even harder stuff and you need to work a lot harder, it really puts you in perspective of what is to come.
What aspects of your game are you working on specifically this week, especially over the summer?
Oh, definitely my strength and my on-ice movement. It's definitely a big part of my game, and they're really developing me here, and as long with the other goalies too.
What's the year been like for you, not only playing, but then you go to the draft and now this camp? Pretty busy year for you.
Yeah, it's been a great year for me. I'm going to look back on it for the rest of my life, and it's really a big part of my life, and it's going to be there for the rest of my life as a milestone.
What's the future plans after this camp and heading into next hockey season?
I'm going to go play at University of Massachusetts Lowell, and I'm going to hope to have a great season there.
Anything specifically you're going to work on over there throughout the year that the Jets are telling you to get better at?
Yes, they're going to be in contact with Cam Ellsworth and the whole training staff over there, and they're going to develop a plan and really work me hard and really help me improve my game.
Can you tell us just back about the draft? What happened? How did you find out? What was that story there?
Well, I was actually sitting on a couch at work. I work as a goalie coach, help with the little kids. And I was actually just sitting there watching it on TV, and it went to commercial. And then I had a buddy who was at the draft, text me, "Congratulations, you're a Jet." And then it went from commercial to the actual draft, and I saw my name up there, and it was awesome. It was a great feeling.
Did you have any thoughts, about playing in Canada and what that would be like?
Well, I kind of had a feeling it was going to be a Canadian team because I was talking to a bunch of Canadian teams. But I really was willing to go where I was going to be drafted to. I didn't really care where I was going to be. I knew I was going to have to improve, and they were going to work with me a lot, and I'm really glad I was Winnipeg because they have a great organization.
From this camp, other than just the on-ice stuff, what are you taking from maybe the off-ice stuff and around the development with that?
Well, I'm taking how hard I need to work, the whole workout plan and the whole work ethic, and really what it's going to take to develop and improve my game for the next couple of years. I had a great season down in Odessa, Texas for the Odessa Jackalopes. The organization there was great. They treated us real professionally, and we made a good playoff run. We almost beat the Amarillo Bulls, which were top ranked in the NAHL. And it was just a really fun season, really helped me improve. Joe Clark was the GM and goalie coach, and he really helped me improve and flourish my game.
It's been good. I really enjoyed the development camp. I think it's very well run. I think Jimmy Roy's really managed it well. It's really not an evaluation process not for me, and I don't think for us. There's a lot of skill development and just trying to teach players how to work the right way. And I've liked them. I think a lot of guys look really good, and I've liked some of the ability to be able to see the young players from last year and see them now, how they've matured and how they've gotten better. And clearly some guys have really picked up a stride, or their skills gotten better. They got a little bit bigger, so it's good to see.
Thoughts on Trouba?
On Trouba?
Yeah.
I like him, big guy. I met Jacob a bit at the draft and got a chance to talk to him. But he looks good. He looks good out here. I like to watch players think, and drills that see their hockey sense. We haven't done a whole lot of that, but I really like him a lot. He shoots the puck really well, and I like the way he's worked along with a lot of other guys. Well, there's a lot of things. I think there's a lot of facets that really help players. I think that Jimmy's done a really good job in a lot of areas, not only on the ice but off the ice, and in controlling some of those things, because it's really hard to expect a 19-year-old to come into training camp and all of a sudden know everything or be this guy that's going to embrace, I'm ready to go now. Because the biggest thing you find is that they don't have as much experience because they're younger, and a lot of times they don't realize what level of commitment that's required to play at this level. And usually they go through one training camp, maybe a second, before they really get an understanding of how tough it really is and how well the NHL players work and how much they invest into themselves. And it's really, that's the biggest thing, is that for me as young guys, they underestimate how much these guys work. Like, for example, yesterday we had a player come in and work with us, one of our players work with the young guys, and that was impressive. I mean, our guys, showing them how, not showing them how, but he's lifting weights that are twice the barbells that the other ones are, and they're whipping them up and down there. I'm thinking, whew. If the puck went in the corner, I would say, you go get it first, I'll worry about trying to contain you rather than you run me, because it was impressive. You know, and that's that's what you don't know. And there's no way of. We try to expedite the process. We try to expedite all this stuff, and you try to help them as much as you can. But a lot of stuff they have to go through, and they have to see firsthand.
I think a guy like Lucas Sutter might have a better handle on what it does take, given his family.
I think he does. I think just the fact that you come from the bloodlines that he comes from, and being around it all the time, you have a pretty good handle on the ups and downs of all your other uncles, cousins, whatever, and what they've gone through, that you can actually learn from watching them, and not only watching them succeed, but watching them struggle. And, you know, if you have that front row seat and things like that, I think that it's clearly you have a little bit of an advantage there. And I think that, you know, it makes you be better off for it. It might help your maturity a little bit quicker, but sometimes other guys pass you because they learn different ways, you know, but I think it's certainly an advantage for him.